Kind of jumping ahead, kind of looking at, we kind of saw the application event logs, but any sort of system event log will be helpful, kind of identifying activity that's occurred on a system. Can be useful for timelining events as well, kind of as things occurred and the associated activity related to that event. And one of the things, kind of want to point out is talking about remote access. One thing that we obviously identified in looking through the timeline stuff. Here's just kind of a, quick reference, right? This basically saying that this file, something popped up on the screen that says, do you want to update? Probably the user said yes, right? Something popped up, I click yes to it. But this was eventually, some sort of fake AV application. So this kind of, talking about some of these suspicious user accounts that exist out there. This is, things that we've kind of talked about a little bit, particularly with that support user account. But things that are either created or enabled or elevated privileges or something along those lines are certainly things that you'll want to follow up on with the IT staff or whatever. String searches can, of course, be helpful, searching for IP addresses, domain names, things that we had previously identified, file names, so on and so forth. You can look for unique strings from things like you did in runtime analysis or unique strings that were in an executable by running strings against it or in memory or so on and so forth. You can use previously identified information, so you've got to build the keyword list from previous cases, using that to identify kind of things that to be of interest or domains that will be of interest, IP addresses, so on and so forth. And really it's designed to kind of narrow your search, or in some ways kind of broaden it as well, because it's like, I don't know, but I know this IP address is bad. Show me the instances where I find this. So you can see kind of here, kind of performing a string search for, for a malware piece of malware or something like that. Gives you a hit in a log file, a TRS backup log file, right? Probably something that you didn't really think about or may not have looked into, but string searches help to kind of point you in that direction, right? Unallocated space is a great example as well. Kind of you search for an IP address maybe of interest. I've blanked some of it out there, but you search for an IP address and it gives you this entry, showing about a TCP connection on port 3084, right? So you just kind of use this to kind of get additional information and kind of, I don't know that much about this or what this application is doing or whatever else, but I know this IP address is of interest. Again, this is, another entry kind of similar to that. Also want to point out that, you can search for things like packing signatures. Like if you look down in here, we have the UPX. UPX pack is one of the most common packers that exists out there. So you can actually search for the string associated with UPX, UPX0, UPX1, which can be used to identify, is this application packed? One thing I want to make clear is that, packing an executable isn't malicious in nature, but it is indicative, many pieces of malware will pack themselves to help obfuscate them enough so that they aren't detected by antivirus and things like that. So it can often be a good indicator and kind of point you in the direction of a file that you may want to look at a little bit more closely. And here's another one. This is using ASPack, a DLL file that's packed with that. So you can perform searches, and there's a bunch of different packers out there. I'd encourage you to just kind of look up their signatures. You can find that stuff on various blogs and white papers and things like that. You can also do things like signature checking. So like, this is doing a SigCheck as a part of the sysinternal suite, where you can basically use it to kind of point it at, like this is notepad.exe. You can see, signed by Microsoft. It's verified. That's a good thing. And then you have this other one, which is called notepad.exe, but has this kind of like, crazy signature description associated with it, right? And it's basically saying that it's unsigned, not verified. So this can be an indicator that, this is a common thing that people do to like replace a file or something like that, or to, this may have been in a different location, for example, not in System 32, but they're using a common file name, right, something that's known on Windows and, probably isn't red flagged by its name alone, but it's obviously not notepad.exe, right? It's not the legitimate Windows file. So this can be helpful, just kind of in identifying, is something legitimate or illegitimate.